上来一点了呢，今天早上那个空调。
今天早上空调了，看到一点。
今天的泡这里。
What began as the remnants of a weakening typhoon quickly turned into one of southern China's most destructive flood disasters of the year. Entire neighborhoods disappeared beneath muddy water. Rivers surged to record levels. Reservoirs burst their banks. Thousands of rescue workers raced against time to save families trapped on rooftops. And in one of the most heartbreaking moments of the disaster, zoo staff were forced to make an impossible decision that ultimately cost the lives of many animals while protecting nearby communities. This is the story of the catastrophic flooding that devastated Guangxi Province after the remnants of Typhoon Maysak collided with the southwest monsoon. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Over the past several days, southern China has been battling relentless flooding triggered by the remnants of Typhoon Maysak, the 10th named storm of the 2026 Western Pacific typhoon season. Although the storm weakened after making landfall in Hainan in northern Vietnam, it continued carrying enormous amounts of tropical moisture inland. Once it reached Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, that moisture combined with the powerful southwest monsoon, producing days of torrential rain instead of moving away quickly. The result was a widespread flood emergency that overwhelmed rivers, breached reservoirs, submerged entire districts, and forced massive rescue operations across the region. As of July 9th, recovery has begun in many areas, but authorities warn that saturated ground and additional rainfall continue to pose serious risks. Heavy rain intensified during July 5th and July 6th as Maysak's remnants stalled over Guangxi. Instead of weakening harmlessly, the slow-moving system repeatedly dumped rain over the same locations. Some areas near Nanning received extraordinary rainfall totals, with nearly 746 millimeters falling within a single 24-hour period. Rivers rose rapidly. Reservoirs filled beyond capacity. Drainage systems became overwhelmed. Soon, streets transformed into fast-moving rivers. The situation became even worse when several reservoirs near Hangzhou, under the administration of Nanning, suffered breaches after days of relentless rainfall. Walls of muddy water rushed downstream, flooding villages within minutes. Residents barely had time to escape as homes, roads, farmland, and businesses disappeared beneath powerful floodwaters. Officials later described the damage as causing severe losses of both life and property. Among the hardest hit cities was Guigang. Located along the Guigang River, the city experienced one of the fastest river rises in recent memory. Hydrological stations reported the river climbing far above its official warning level. By the evening of July 7th, the Guigang River reached approximately 46.88 meters, more than 5 meters above the danger threshold. Water poured into residential neighborhoods, industrial zones, construction sites, and commercial districts. Videos shared across Chinese social media showed roads completely submerged. Cars disappeared beneath brown floodwater. Construction sites became enormous lakes. Powerful currents swept through streets that only hours earlier had been busy with everyday traffic. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation, Guigang authorities raised the city's emergency response to level 1, the highest possible flood emergency level. One of the disaster's most emotional stories unfolded during the early hours of July 7th. Floodwater rapidly entered the Guigang Zoo. Staff members understood immediately that if dangerous animals escaped, nearby residents would face another deadly threat. Despite the rapidly rising water, workers rushed through the flooded grounds, securing lions, wolves, bears, and other predators inside their enclosures. It was an act of extraordinary courage. Unfortunately, the decision came with heartbreaking consequences. Several lions reportedly drowned after remaining locked inside their cages. Bears, wolves, and numerous other animals also perished as floodwaters engulfed the facility. Many herbivores were swept away entirely. 5 zoo employees eventually became trapped on top of a shipping container while waiting for rescue. Later, one worker recalled that if rescue teams had arrived just 20 minutes later, they believed they would not have survived. Their actions prevented potentially dangerous animal escapes, but they also witnessed the heartbreaking loss of animals they had cared for every day. Across Guangxi, thousands of families suddenly found themselves surrounded by floodwater. Entire communities were evacuated. Emergency shelters quickly filled with displaced residents. Temporary relocation centers were established throughout affected areas, including 18 emergency shelter sites in Guigang alone. Rescue crews used inflatable boats, heavy equipment, and drones to reach isolated neighborhoods. Some residents were rescued directly from rooftops after floodwaters trapped them inside their homes. Others waited for hours without electricity or clean drinking water. The disaster also created unexpected dangers. Flooded snake farms reportedly released hundreds of snakes into surrounding communities after enclosures were destroyed. In one tragic incident, a woman reportedly died following a venomous snake bite after emergency medical assistance was delayed because flooded roads were impassable. Meanwhile, farmers watched entire seasons of work disappear underwater. Fields of jasmine flowers, tea plantations, and other crops suffered extensive damage. Livestock became stranded in powerful currents, forcing rescuers to use excavators to lift pigs and other animals to safety. Every rescue reflected the enormous challenges faced by emergency crews throughout the province. China launched a massive emergency response as conditions continued to deteriorate. More than 8,000 rescue personnel were mobilized across the affected region. Thousands of emergency vehicles, boats, engineering teams, firefighters, police officers, and volunteer rescue organizations joined the effort. Drones searched flooded neighborhoods for stranded residents. Hydrological experts monitored river levels around the clock. Engineers inspected reservoirs and reinforced vulnerable embankments wherever possible.